Lawrence out to Williams, looks right, delivers left. Casey pump fake, step back, 3 ball, got it. And Wilcher hits back-to-back threes. Comes left, hands it off. Tominaga shoots a long 3, got it.
Welcome into the Nebraska Basketball Show. You know the head coach, Fred Hoiberg. I'm Jessica Coody in for Greg Sharp this week. Well, Coach, we knew going into this stretch it was going to be a tough one for your team coming off the Purdue game, back-to-back games on the road. And the road has not been kind to teams in this conference this season.
It's really hard to win on the road in this league. And, you know, let's start with the Iowa game. We got off to a terrible start. And I think it was 17-2 after about 6 minutes. And to our guys' credit, they clawed back. We actually took a lead in the second half, and it takes so much energy. That's the problem when you dig yourself a hole like that. And then we found a nice rhythm, and then they really slowed us down, and they got hot. They made 7 threes in a row on us and pulled away at the end of that one. Rutgers was we got off to a great start in that one, and then obviously went through a dry patch in the second half and just really got out muscled on the glass. 25 offensive rebounds. It's hard to win when you do that.
All right, well, we got lots to get to here on the show. Coming up next, we're going to break down the Iowa game. We're also have a fun feature with Kurt Joseph, the strength and conditioning coach. So keep it right here on our Nebraska Basketball Show. Welcome back to the Nebraska Basketball Show, presented by BMO. All right, Coach, coming off the big win over Purdue, you were looking for how this team would respond in a big win and did not get out to a great start against Iowa.
Yeah, I thought we tried to play their game, and, you know, nice first possession here, getting the layup, and, you know, then we tried to start matching them shot for shot. You can't do that against Iowa. You need to move the ball. When we did, as the game went on, that's where we really climbed back into it, and we became very efficient. But, you know, this team on their home court, if you take quick shots, you're playing right into their hands, and they're one of the most difficult teams to guard, and you saw that early.
So they get out to a 17-2 lead, but then you're seeing defense transition to some offense to get you guys back into this.
Yeah, nice play by Sam. They're getting the deflection, throw ahead to Casey. And I thought Eli gave us a nice lift off the bench. We got in some foul trouble. He had 2 nice takes. Hit a 3 for us. You know, tough break right there. Had a deflection. Got to come up with those balls. You know, too many times right now we're not getting those loose ones, and we got to find a way to finish off possessions when we do get deflections.
You guys go on a 12-2 run to cut it to 19-14, but Eli Rice had 7 points in that run.
Yeah, he was great, and Josiah was really good off the bench as well. I think 14 points he had in this game and did a really nice job. Another good take here by Eli getting to the basket, and that's what we have to do. We settled for too many shots. When you get a switch up with a bigger guy, you got to find a way to take advantage of that matchup.
You've talked a lot about the communication in the huddles. What was the communication by your guys when you start going on this run to get back into it?
It was good when we went on the run. It was not good when adversity hit us, and that's where we got to get better. We flat out got to make that shot. You know, it's a huge swing. Instead of being 21-19, it's a 4-point swing, 23-17. Got to find a way to make those when we can on those rim plays. Very efficient in the paint. This is one of those games when the ball hit the paint, a lot of really good things happened, and when, again, we jacked up quick shots, we really struggled to score. Another great play by Joe, taking advantage of their pressure, and again, that's why we cut that thing back down and made it a game. Just poor communication right there, and again, too many breakdowns, and against this Iowa team, if you break down, they're going to make you pay.
You guys struggle from three-point. Was that an emphasis to start getting to the rim as we're seeing lots of two-point makes here?
Yeah, I mean, it was, and it really is every game. We want that ball to hit the paint, you know, especially when the shots aren't falling. Rink, we had a nice advantage with him. I thought he was very aggressive getting into the paint and really made some good things happen. And again, when you have you know, the deficit that we had, this was a great possession. We got it worked around. They got a switch. We took advantage of it and found the right matchup on the post. Now we really cut well in this stretch as well as we pulled all the way back and to take a lead into the second half.
There's Rink again getting going. Is he feeling back to 100%?
No, he's not. He's, you know, we're very limited with him in his practice reps. You know, I think he saw a little fatigue in the Rutgers game. But you know, we're just going to have some of that. We're going to have to deal with it and then, you know, figure out at the end of the season. This is, you know, really tough possession. We've defended very well, and then you bail out with a foul. Great play by Casey here. He demands so much attention, and good to see Rink pop out there and knock down that shot.
So all tied up at 44, and again, here's Rink now going inside, from outside to inside.
Yeah, and again, you see the score right here, and we finally take a lead. And, you know, again, on the road, you got to find a way. You know, I thought we dug down. We did a really good job of coming back. Just unfortunately, they slowed us down. Right here they'd gone to a zone. Great job getting that ball inside. We missed a lot of opportunities to get that ball to the middle against their zone. Another mistake. Can't help off that strong side corner right there. And this is when they really went on their run. Cricky got hot. You can't let him get to his left hand. That's a scouting report thing right there. He did it twice. It happened to Josiah on the next possession. Just kind of hanging around. You still see it's a very manageable game right here. Even here, 8 points, and then, like I said, they hit 7 threes in a row on us, and that's what really extended their lead.
Josiah Alec finished with a season-high 14 points. What was it about this matchup that allowed him to really get going offensively?
Well, I thought he did a good job being aggressive when he got the ball in the paint. When they overplayed us, he did a good job going up and getting the ball with 2 hands with strength and in finishing. Had a couple steals as well. They got him out in transition, and again, just too slow on the closeout right there. That's a guy that has to bounce it, and we allowed him to be too comfortable.
What makes Iowa such a tough team to guard?
Well, they're always in the top 5 in offense, and they just move you around so much. And give them credit. They came out, and they're a really good team. They're playing well right now. I think that's 3 in a row for them. So, just got to find a way. Find a formula. When things are working, you got to stick with that plan.
94-76, the final there at Iowa. Coming up, we're going to break down the game at Rutgers. Went to overtime, an exciting finish, but we're going to talk about all of that coming up next here on our Nebraska Basketball Show. Welcome back to the Nebraska Basketball Show presented by BMO. I'm Jessica Coody in for Greg Sharp this week, along with the head coach Fred Hoiberg. And Coach, you're saying you're looking for a bounce back performance here in this one and got off to a pretty good start.
We did get off to a good start, very important. This is one of the more difficult arenas to play in the league. It gets very loud in there. It certainly was a factor the other night. Had a little bit of a deficit, but then we got hot and ended up building a double-digit lead in this first half. I thought we had good thrust to the basket. Great play right there by Bryce, and a good job by Jamarcus playing in the dunker spot right there. Good movement right here. I love this play. Anytime they're chasing us and warring us over screens, we really want to finish that cut. And Rink did a good job finding Jamarcus on one of those cuts, and also CJ right there.
Bryce Williams seemed to be really aggressive from the start.
Yeah, he was. He had a 3 on the first possession. I thought we had a really good action that got him loose, and then he was very aggressive all night long. Hit 4 threes, which I think is a season high for him. But I think you see what he can do with his arsenal. He's a very versatile 3-level scorer.
So you guys go up by as much as 12. What was kind of the key to this run?
Yeah, just movement, and this is a hard team to score against. They're a top 10 defense for a reason. It's just it can't happen on that blow by right there. But we had good movement right here, and when we did that, we got Rutgers scrambling a little bit, and really was just a lot of random type actions, split type actions, try to get them to make a mistake. That kid hadn't made a shot in a month, and unfortunately knocked a couple down against us.
You're about to go on a pretty big drought here. What was the issue to close out the first half?
Yeah, both halves. That was an issue for us, and I thought we still had some of the same movement. This is the biggest key. I thought they just beat us to too many loose balls and hustle plays and that type of thing. We had 2 opportunities right there to secure a play, and once they got going, their crowd got into it. It got loud in that building. Another blow by. Right there in the defensive end, but that's where, for us, when we can get stops, that usually fuels our offense.
Huge swat there by Jawan Gary. What makes Rutgers so good defensively?
Well, they're tough, they're physical, they're long. That's really what they've hung their hat on. That's what that program's been all about, is just toughness and defense. And again, give them credit. They did a good job making it difficult on us. We shot ourselves in the foot. We had too many turnovers on too many possessions as well. Great play right there by Jawan on that block, and you still see, you got a nice 8-point lead right here, which I think actually got up to 12 under 10 minutes, and then unfortunately went on that big drought, like you said.
Yeah, it tied at half, and then really fun to start, and then you guys really starting to pull away here. got things going from the three-point too, and there's another three from Bryce.
Well, and you make 13 threes. You know, you make 13 threes in the road, you hope you win. Good little action right here. CJ creating some confusion on the back screen to the handoff, knocking down a big shot, and again, giving us that 12-point lead. And then we had a chance in the next possession, and we turned it over, just threw it right to them. And then this was the problem, Jessica, right down the stretch here. This is where they took the game over with 25 offensive rebounds.
How do you stop that?
Well, you got to be tougher. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. You got to find a way to go out and get those mano-a-mano. It's, you know, you got to, rebounding is all about will, and you know, they just got too many of them. And again, once that place got loud, we just didn't have that same poise that we had when we went on the big run.
So at this point, you're without Juwan Gary. How does that change the dynamics of your basketball team?
Well, that hurt us, obviously. I mean, he's kind of the heart and soul of this team, and when he went out with that injury, you know, that really hurt us on defense. This is you know, they make that one, probably win the game right there. Unfortunately, it didn't go in. Those types of things happen. And then we had a couple free throws. You know, this one, you know, it's just one of those plays. That's option one, and it's a 1 out of 10 play. You got to let the progression happen, and I think we could have got a decent shot had we not thrown that one away.
And you're going to lose a couple of guys here, Josiah Alec, Rink Mast, but still fighting and still giving yourself a chance to win this one.
We came back, and you know, I think we scored on 4 straight possessions after going on a 9-minute drought from the floor. And then again, you know, you just see them going right over top of us, get the 3-point play. You know, you find a way to secure a couple of rebounds. You know, take 5 of those off. We win this game, Jessica, and that's really what hurt about this night. And
you know, Matar Jope comes in and makes a huge pass out to Sam Hoiberg, who came in and had a couple big buckets for you too. Kind of like some of the things you saw in overtime.
He did. Matar, you know, I give Matar a lot of credit. That's not easy to do when you sit on the bench for over 40 minutes and you go in there with under a minute to go, and you made a really good play. You showed great poise. Sam hit a couple threes for us to keep us right there. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get it done. 87-82,
the final as the Huskers fall in overtime. All right, got to work in a break here, but coming up next, we're going to learn more about the strength and conditioning coach, Kurt Joseph, here on the Nebraska Basketball Show, presented by BMO. Welcome back to the Nebraska Basketball Show. It's time for this week's Cornhusker Conversation, presented by Teammates Mentoring, and today we get to know the strength and conditioning coach, Kurt Joseph.
As the year progresses, we're going to need leaders in specific situations, whether it's a high-stress situation where we need a calm lead-by-example guy, or when the energy's low and we're going to need our talkers to talk and get us revved up so we can prepare ourselves to win, because that's what we're here to do, okay? So think about that as you go into practice. Don't step on this court and pull. This is a privilege, all right? I'm going to say that over and over and over. It's a privilege, all right? So think about that, all right? Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, come on, let's go.
Us on 3, 1, 2, 3, us.
Coach Joseph is arguably one of the most impressive people, you know, that I've ever been around. And that goes way beyond just this staff. 2 most important people in your program are your head coach, who's going to be in charge of your minutes, and then the strength coach, because you're around them, you know, you're around him or her as much as anybody. He spends as much time with these guys off the floor as he does in the weight room with them, and they trust him, they go to him. He's a confident person that they can go to and you know, trust that he has their best interests at all times, and he's phenomenal. We're really, really blessed and fortunate to have him on our staff.
All right, bend the corner more and rotate. The faster you rotate your head, the body has to follow.
I originally wanted to play basketball. Growing up on the streets of Brooklyn, everybody plays basketball. As I progressed from high school to college, I really got into mentorship, how to develop the body. I always like to be the most in shape. I always like to be as explosive as I can, to be as cerebral as I can, studying film and trying to one-up my competition. And I said, you know what? How do I transition from being the person to do that to being the person to help facilitate that?
He just impacts lives, man. He's a great guy. He had a bigger impact on me mentally. Because as we know, basketball is 90% mental.
The whole point of everything is taking each individual ego, right, and understanding that if you make it into a collective to represent your team and represent your family, represent something bigger, that's the actual point of what you're supposed to do as a team. That's what I mean when I say collective efficacy, right?
Work hard, he's going to respect you, and
He's going to make sure everyone gets to that point where he works hard and you have respect for each other, and then your relationship just blossoms from there.
Right, so it's like here, right.
My personal ideology is holistic health and performance. Strength is important, but what's just as important is the psychology of the athlete, how they respond to adversity, their movement strategies to help reduce the chances of injury. And when you can kind of blend all of those variables together, you have a more well-rounded program. In order to maintain holistic health, you have to start at the rudiment aspect of any relationship. You have to care about the person, and you have to be open to listening to the athlete as you garner a stronger partnership with this athlete. And that takes time. And in this social media age, everything is about instant gratification. But if you're very present and you understand the significance of the present moment, then the thing that you're doing is the most important thing that you're doing at that time. It's being one-pointed, and it's being mindful of every single thing that you do. I take that very serious.
Coach Joseph is such a fascinating guy. He does a lot for your current team, but also a lot of those guys that go play pro want to come back and work with him when they have time off.
Kurt is phenomenal. One of the best hires I've ever made. And I got a call from Ryan Saunders. Ryan was the son of Flip Saunders, who I played for with the Timberwolves. And I've known Ryan. He was let go by Minnesota, and he called and said, "Hey, I'm telling you, I got the best guy that I've ever been around." And he's right. I mean, Kurt does so many things for our guys. He mentors them. He goes to the grocery store with them. If they're having trouble mentally, he's there for them, anything they need. So, really fortunate to have a guy like Kurt on our staff.
Yep, he is a great guy, great to talk to also. All right, we got to work in our final break. We got final thoughts coming up from the head coach here on the Nebraska Basketball Show. Welcome back. Final segment here of the Nebraska Basketball Show presented by BMO. Well, Coach, you talked a lot about how this team responds. Need a big one coming up on Saturday at home against Northwestern. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting night for us just because recognizing the 93-94 team, that's one of the best teams in the history of the program. It can be great to see Coach Nee. He recruited me, did a home visit with me, and, always a very dynamic personality playing against that team. It was very tough. They swept us that year at Iowa State and really had some tough players on that team. Piakowski is one of the hardest guys I ever had to guard at any level. So that'll be a fun night. But, yeah, we need to bounce back. We need to have a good, complete 40-minute game. Northwestern is playing really good basketball right now, and hopefully carry on for the rest of the week. All right, well, best of luck. And good news is you got a couple at home here coming up. 1:15 on Saturday against Northwestern. Again, alumni weekend. And then Tuesday, Ohio State back at home inside Pinnacle Bank Arena at 6 o'clock. All right, that will do it for the Nebraska Basketball Show. Thanks to the Husker Vision crew and Coach Hoiberg. Thanks for watching.